Having just had something of a morale boost from checking out Walking on Sunshine from Katrina and the Waves, I thought it was finally time to have a look at the Class 50 Hoover, the locomotive that, for whatever reason, has always appeared in the diesel refuelling siding whenever I'm shooting a scene at Stranraer Town. This video will not focus on the original Mesh Tools model that's still available on Steam, as of late August 2026. Instead, we'll be looking at the newer pack from Armstrong Powerhouse and Bossman Games. The latter now goes by Precision Locomotive Developments. The AP/BMG Class 50 was released in November 2019, and as of late August 2026, she is still available on AP's website, albeit for a rather high full price of £30, or around 68 New Zealand dollars. From memory, it was only £20, or around 45 New Zealand dollars, at initial release, but AP later raised the price by £5 when they added the unrefurbished variants of the Class 50. Why the pack's price has since gone up to £30 is anyone's guess. In my case, I didn't pick up the AP/PLD Class 50 until late November 2024, when it was on sale for a remarkable 50% off, which is a better deal than what I remember normally seeing on the rare occasions when AP have sales going. I paid £15, or around 33 New Zealand dollars, for my copy of the Class 50. As for what you get in the pack, we'll start off with the substantial livery selection, which is as follows. BR Blue Unrefurbished, so this is the original condition basically. BR Blue Unrefurbished, but now with tops numbers and nameplates. BR Blue Refurbished, with either NRN or GSMR radio modules. 3 variants of BR Large Logo Blue, with roofs coloured grey, blue or black. Network Southeast Original. 2 variants of Network Southeast Revised. BR Trainload Grey, as worn only by 50049 Defiance when she was trialled on freight services. BR Civil Engineers, also known as the Dutch livery. BR Blue Lera, with either NRN or GSMR radio modules. Great Western Railway, as worn only by 50007. London, Midland and Scottish Railway. Load Hall. Intercity Swallow, as applied to 50031 Hood in Preservation, and GB Rail Freight, as applied to 50007 Hercules and 50049 Defiance. I could have sworn I once heard that the livery selection included with the Class 50 pack comprised every single livery these locomotives had ever worn in real life at the time of this add-on's release, but don't quote me on that. I should also mention that, as a bonus, you also get the FVX motor rail wagon as part of the Class 50 pack. Motor rail trains were long-distance passenger services on which passengers could bring their cars with them, although they're not a thing in the UK anymore, having last run in 1995, not counting a brief revival on the Knights Riviera between 1999 and 2005. On a brief personal note, I was lucky to see at least 2 Class 50s when I was on the Severn Valley Railway. The specific Hoovers that I saw were 50035 Ark Royal and 50049 Defiance, although I never got footage of them in motion, only a brief look as I went past the Kidderminster diesel depot. As for features on the Class 50, these include, but are not limited to, a very well made external model, 3D nameplates for all 50 members of the class, realistic traction physics, adhesion physics that vary depending on the season, time of day, or whether or not you're in a tunnel, cooling fan simulation, full details in the manual, adjustable traction motor volume, adjustable clag factor, controlled with Shift-C and Control-C, variable power and braking performance, working NRN or GSMR radio modules where applicable, and a realistic cold start procedure. See the manual for the full rundown of features on this locomotive. The unrefurbished BR Blue variant has a changeable 4-digit header code box, but this can only be changed in the scenario editor, and not driver mode as well. One wonders why that is the case, especially since the much older AP/Railrights Class 40 does have header codes that you can change in driver mode. And yes, this is the specific Class 40 that appears in bold out. Thinking back to the variable power and braking performance on the Class 50, it's worth mentioning that, when you've got electric train heating enabled, you may notice a 15% reduction in the locomotive's power output. Incidentally, I've known about the Hoovers for many years, and always thought that the combination of marker lights and whatever that recession is below the headlight makes them look like they're making a shocked face. As someone who has had lots of experience with Armstrong Powerhouse locomotives, I found the Class 50 to be easy to set up and drive. The cab setup process on the Class 50 is largely the same as it is on other AP locomotives and enhancement packs, such as the Class 37 and Class 86 for example. When you first load into a scenario, you'll have to go through the following procedure before setting off. Insert the master key with Shift W, make sure the reverser is set to engine only, set the AWS change end switch to on with Control N, press Q to cancel the AWS self-test sequence, use W to set the reverser to forwards, use R to lift the train brake handle, then press semicolon to move the handle to full service, with 64% on the F4 heads-up display, turn off the tail lights with K, turn on the marker lights with J, and if you're using a refurbished Class 50, use H to turn on the high-intensity headlight. Once all that lot is done, you're ready to go. I don't really have any issues with the AP/PLD Class 50, apart from the prime mover audio, which, to my ears at least, is only properly loud when the throttle's open past around 55%. Other than that, it's pretty much spot on. Come to think of it, I noticed a small difference in audio between the unrefurbished and refurbished Class 50s, that being something that sounds like a vacuum cleaner on the unrefurbished variant. I also noticed a small glitch with the instrument lights, depending on which way the camera is pointing. This only appears to be on the unrefurbished variants. Now we move on to discussing the scenarios that come with the Class 50, of which there are 6. 4 of them are for Dovetail's Riviera line Exeter to Paignton, and the other 2 are for AP's own Wherry lines, Norwich to Great Yarmouth and Lowestoft. 2 of the Riviera line scenarios are set in 1983, while the other 2 are set in 1989, and as for the scenarios on the Wherry lines, they're both set in 1999, due to being a two-parter. As one might expect from AP, the scenarios use suitable rolling stock from their respective time periods as AI traffic. But there's a downside in the form of the rather high total costs of all the requirements, and in the case of the Class 50 scenarios, the total is an insane £404.36, or $922.79 NZD. That includes the base packs required for the Class 31, Class 86, Class 158 Perkins, and Class 170 enhancement packs, not to mention the Weary Lines route itself. To be fair, I realised that you wouldn't need to, and really shouldn't, buy all the requirements at once and at full price. For the most part, I still like AP scenarios for their realistic AI traffic and rolling stock variety, but that doesn't change the fact that TS Classic can still be a ludicrously expensive hobby sometimes. I suppose the silver lining here is AP's semi-recent decision to make all the scenarios on their Powerhouse app freeware. What's the bet that Trigger would see 50021 and still call this engine Dave? All things considered, I am of the opinion that the Class 50 from AP and PLD is easily one of the better UK diesel locomotive packs that you can get in TS. Highlights include the borderline excellent modelling and good selection of liveries, especially when compared to the old Mesh Tools Hoover, while the physics feel pretty solid in all. The livery selection allows you to use the Hoovers in both working days and preservation era scenarios. In saying that, and as far as I know, we haven't got a pre-electrification version of WCML over SHAP in the game. Although the Class 50s are more advanced than a significant number of the diesels available on Steam, it's not too difficult to get the hang of them, especially once you've read through the manual. As for the sounds, the only fault I have on that front is the prime mover being a little too quiet, but other than that, it still sounds very accurate to the real Class 50. As good as I think the pack is overall, I do not think it's worth 30 quid, and I'm glad I only paid 15 for this thing. If you're interested in buying the Class 50 for yourself, I would recommend waiting for a sale and buying her then. At the end of the day, I reckon the PLD/AP Class 50 deserves an 8.3 out of 10, and if you've stuck around to the end of the video, you win a water closet that once belonged to a person who made bread and cakes. It's the Bakerloo.